Now we'll discuss about the experimental setup used to study photoelectric effect. The arrangement is like this. So this is a discharge tube provided with a cathode and anode. Cathode is the emitter of electrons, anode is the collector of electrons. So an electric field is applied between cathode and anode with the help of a battery potential divider arrangement. And to measure the potential difference between cathode and anode, a voltmeter is arranged, and to measure the photocurrent, a microammeter is arranged in the circuit. Now, through a quartz window, radiation of a suitable frequency from the source is allowed to fall on the cathode. Since glass is opaque to UV radiation, a quartz window is used for allowing the UV radiation. You can increase or decrease the distance between the emitter and the source so that intensity of the radiation changes. So when you increase the distance, radiation intensity decreases, or when you bring the source closer, then intensity increases. Like that you can vary the intensity. So by using different colored filters for the window, you can admit radiation of suitable frequency, or you can use a spectrometer arrangement for admitting a particular wavelength radiation to fall on the cathode. So cathode and emitter are same, anode and collector are same, so different words but they are same. Now, so let us see what is the result of their experiment, that is Lenard and Halbwachs experimental observations. So we will discuss the results of these observations. First one, the effect of intensity of radiation on photocurrent. So what was their observation? So it was observed that with increase in intensity of incident radiation of a particular frequency for a particular metal surface, the photocurrent increases. So they observed a linear relationship between the intensity of the radiation falling on the cathode and the photocurrent observed in the ammeter. So if a graph is drawn between the photocurrent taken on y-axis and intensity on x-axis, so a straight line is obtained. So that shows that with increase in intensity, the photocurrent increased. So keeping the potential difference constant and keeping the frequency of the incident radiation constant, if you move the position of the source from the cathode away from it, the intensity decreases. If you bring nearer, intensity increases. So you know that intensity is inversely proportional to the square of the distance. So therefore, with changing the intensity of radiation for a given frequency and potential difference between the cathode and anode, the photocurrent increased linearly. So that is the first one. The second one is, so what is the effect of potential of this anode with respect to cathode on the photocurrent? So effect of potential on photocurrent. So keeping the frequency of the incident radiation constant, if you change the potential difference between cathode and anode, that means if you increase the positive potential of anode with respect to cathode, more and more electrons are accelerated. So more and more electrons are accelerated towards the anode. So photocurrent increases. But after reaching a particular maximum value, with increase in anode potential, the photocurrent doesn't change. So it reaches a saturation value. That means almost all the photoelectrons emitted from the cathode are reached the anode. So a saturation state is reached. So the graph drawn between the photocurrent and the potential of the collector shows that, so it is something like this. But this is the saturation value. Now when you decrease the potential of anode, and if it is made negative with respect to anode, and if that negative potential increases, the photocurrent decreases and becomes zero. So that negative potential of the anode for which the photocurrent becomes zero is called stopping potential. Stopping potential. So for a given metal surface and for a given frequency of incident radiation, if you increase the positive potential of anode, the photocurrent increases but becomes maximum, and we call that as saturation current. And with decreasing the potential of anode and making it more and more negative with cathodes, what is happening? The electrons which are accelerate towards anode are retarded. Even the most energetic electron fails to reach the anode at that negative potential of anode. So that we call it as stopping potential. And hence the maximum kinetic energy of photoelectrons is given by stopping potential times the charge of an electron. So you know that the energy is given by potential multiplied with the charge. So that is the maximum kinetic energy of the photoelectrons. Now if you go on increasing the intensity for the same metal surface and for the same frequency of the radiation, so what is observed is the saturation current increases but stopping potential is same. So the graphs are like this. So suppose if this is intensity I1, this is I2, this is I3. So this I1, I3 may be greater than I2, may be greater than I1. So, but even with increase in intensity for the given metal surface and for the given frequency of radiation, the stopping potential is same. That is the second point. So the third observation is effect of frequency. Frequency on stopping potential. So for a given metal surface, use it as cathode, if you go on increasing the frequency of that radiation falling on the metal surface, of course the photocurrent increases, but of course that also reaches a saturation value. With the increase in frequency, what happens? Stopping potential, that is the negative potential required for the anode to stop that maximum kinetic energy electrons to not to reach that anode, also increases. So the graph drawn between the photocurrent and the stopping potential and the potential applied to the anode. So as usual, so this is for a given frequency and for a given intensity. Now for the same intensity, so let us say that is for same intensity and for a frequency of another radiation, if you observe the graph is same, but if this is the stopping potential for the first radiation, this is for the second one. Similarly, if you change the frequency of the radiation, increase it. So this is the frequency, that is the stopping potential for the other higher frequency of incident radiation. So here the negative potential V3 is greater than V2 and is greater than V1. So that means if the frequency of the incident radiation increases, then the negative potential required to stop the energetic electrons to reach the anode for a given metal surface also increases. So that is what that the third graph tells us. So, but the saturation current is same. But what is happening? So with the change increasing frequency, the negative potential, that is stopping potential of the cathode is increasing. So for a given metal surface, the anode should have more and more negative potential to stop the energetic electrons coming from the cathode if you increase the frequency of the incident radiation. Similarly, you can observe another effect also. That is, if you change the frequency and measure the stopping potential. Of course, the third experiment, instead of drawing graph between current and potential of the anode, so we draw a graph between the frequency of the radiation used to fall on the cathode and measure the stopping potential. So that graph will be like this. That is, I can say that is as a fourth point. So taking the frequency values on x-axis, or say stopping potential on y-axis, and frequency on x-axis. So for a given metal, the used as cathode, the graph is a straight line. So here you observe that there is a minimum value of the frequency. So as the frequency increases, the stopping potential value is also increasing for that metal surface. And for a different metal surface, suppose if it is for a metal of A used as cathode, for another metal it may be something like this. So that frequency, minimum frequency required for photoelectric emission may change. So this frequency is known as threshold frequency. So the minimum frequency of the radiation required to just emit photoelectrons from a metal surface is known as threshold frequency or cutoff frequency. Okay, so these are the four observations seen by the scientists regarding this photoelectric effect. Another important observation, so that is about the time lag. So actually there is no time lag observed between the incidence of incident radiation and the emission of photoelectrons. That means photoelectric emission is an instantaneous process. There is no time gap. So the measured time delay between the incidence of radiation and the emission of photoelectrons is found to be 10 to the power of -9 seconds. So it is of the order of 9 nanoseconds. It means almost there is no time lag. So something happening, something like a collision between the radiation falling on the metal surface and ejection of electrons from the metal surface. So these observations can be treated as laws of photoelectric effect. So one is the photocurrent depends upon intensity of incident radiation for a given for a given frequency of radiation falling on a metal surface. The second one is the stopping potential is independent of intensity of radiation. And the third one is for different frequencies of radiation, the stopping potential for the same metal surface varies. And fourth one is the stopping point for every metal surface. There exists a minimum frequency for which only we can observe photoelectric emission. So that frequency is called as threshold frequency. So for a given metal surface, there exists a minimum cutoff frequency or threshold frequency for which we can observe photoelectric emission. And this is the fifth point. The fifth point is there is no time lag between the emission of photoelectrons and the incidence of the radiation. So immediately when the radiation falls on the metal surface, electrons are ejected. Okay. So in the next class, we will discuss about how can we explain using wave theory or wave nature of radiation this photoelectric effect. And also we are going to study how Einstein explained this photoelectric effect phenomena. Okay.